icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Brandy Bruley here, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools. We're proud to be A+ in academics, the arts, and achievement. Find out the many ways we achieve student success every day by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and go Tornadoes.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, and the show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai. Now, this, of course, is the last Taylorville WTIM Morning Show before the Super Bowl this weekend. Of course, that game going on between the Seahawks and the Patriots. And here to talk about what it means in terms of small town economies and much more is Valerie Belusco. And Valerie is the community and economic development educator, or at least a such educator at the University of Illinois Extension. And if I've pressed all the buttons right, Valerie, you should be on here. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, and I am quite excited for the Super Bowl, of course, as I'm sure you are. In fact, that's why we're talking about this this morning. And one of the things I was thinking about, right? We do a lot of shopping, right? Getting all the food, all the decorations, all that good stuff. And I'm sure a lot of folks here want to shop local, and when the Super Bowl comes around, there are ways to do that as well. What do you have to say about that, Valerie?
So whenever year comes around and people start thinking about the Super Bowl and start planning for it, we start seeing a whole lot of articles come out and data come out that says how much the Super Bowl generates in dollars. And of course, wherever the Super Bowl is held this year, it's in California, they're going to reap a majority of the benefits. But what we rarely see or hear about is the benefits that everyone else reaps. And it actually is a great weekend for local shops, local communities to see a little boost and increase, which is quite nice right now because some of these small businesses have been impacted by the cold weather, by the snow. So they haven't been generating as much foot traffic as they normally would. And so right now is a great time to go out, shop local, get all of your supplies for your Super Bowl party, or maybe you're not having a party. Maybe you just want to go out and you want to watch the game somewhere else. There's lots of places local. Call around, see who's playing the game, and enjoy some good food and some community camaraderie.
And I doubt there will be any establishment with a TV that's not showing it, but who knows? So a lot of ways to support that cause in terms of shopping local for the Super Bowl. And then you think about the Super Bowl, you think about getting together with friends or other people who support the same team or maybe support the other team. So then one of them is bragging at the other. So you think about community events, and Valerie, the Super Bowl, I'm sure is another big example of that too.
Well, so I'll be quite honest with you. I don't really like football. I mean, I love watching local high school games. I love seeing the kids I know play. I love seeing the local teams play. But rarely do I sit down with my husband, who loves football. Rarely do I sit down with him and watch an entire game. I might peek in here and there. I might review some of the cool clips. But it's just not really my cup of tea. What's interesting, though, is it's not everyone else's cup of tea a lot of times, too. But when we have the Super Bowl, it's kind of just that fun time to say, I'm going to pick a team. Doesn't matter if I don't really follow them. Maybe I'll pick it on the color. Maybe I'll pick it on the state that they're from, and just sit down and watch and enjoy and be around other people. Like I said, it has been cold. For some people, it's been a little hard to get out lately. And so it just gives them an opportunity and kind of an excuse and motivation to get out, to go somewhere, to be around others, and to just have a little fun. And I think lately, it's gotten even more fun because you'll hear kids and family members make silly little nonsensical bets with each other, like, oh, I bet so-and-so is going to trip, before the first 5 minutes of the game, starts. And it's kind of neat to have those little things in there too, because all that just builds camaraderie and builds community and kind of helps our heart, not just our local economy.
No, those are all great points. And so you talk about picking a team to follow and essentially support. In that case, Valerie, which team are you backing on Sunday?
Well, my oldest daughter and my husband are going to go Patriots. So I think my youngest daughter and I, we're just going to play devil's advocate and go Seahawks.
Okay, all right. So we've got a split Belusco household going on for the Super Bowl, and we'll see how that one plays out. I'll have to keep that in mind as the game goes on. And then you talk about bets, of course. That's something else a lot of people talk about. I know the common one I hear about is the color of the eventual Gatorade shower at the end, like what color Gatorade ends up coming out of the bucket onto the head coach's back. So that's something I'll be looking for. So you talk about building the community. How does that work for maybe like a smaller town like Taylorville, or especially like the other smaller towns that our station reaches?
Well, so one, we're going to see the grocery stores have higher sales because everybody's going for the chips, the wings, the meats, the dips, the soda, the special drinks. Local meat processors and butchers get a bump for sure. We definitely see a lot more activity in our small town restaurants and bars. And gas stations get a lot more foot traffic, and not just for gas, but picking up soda pop or picking up bags of chips, little things like that. So they're going to get a lot more foot traffic. And when people spend local, it does more than just support that one local business. When we spend money at a locally owned business, usually 68 cents of every dollar stays within the community. So it's much, much higher than if you would spend it outside of your community or at a big box store. And what that means for the economic impact is support of local jobs, local taxes, and local services. So we love to see these bumps in the economy. We love to see everybody just celebrate and have fun. So you'll see maybe decorations at gas stations. Maybe you'll see colors and things, team colors at grocery stores. And it's just kind of nice, and it's a highlight and gets everybody involved, and also gets everybody to spend a little money while they're out.
Yeah, and that local impact there is big, like you said, because of just the way the money goes around, right, in the local ecosystem, and then that can support other businesses, other initiatives, and lead to things like that. I'm talking with Valerie Belusco, the Community and Economic Development Educator at the University of Illinois Extension, as we get ready for Super Bowl Sunday here. So, like into kind of the finer steps. Let's say I'm planning for a gathering, and I got to buy the food, maybe some decorations as well, and I want to and I really want to support local. What does that look like in terms of the steps I take, where I go? What's that like?
Well, so definitely try to buy within your zip code. That always helps your personal taxes. But if you can't, try to buy within your county. That is very important. So order from your local pizza shops. Even ordering at chain stores, that's okay as long as you're still shopping local. So if it's, a local Domino's or something like that, that's okay, because you're still getting those tax dollars to kind of go back through locally. What really, really helps, though, is when it's a privatized store, when it's a mom and pop store. When you spend money there, it really helps generate more money for your local economy. So think about that when you're shopping around. You might decide you want to go to a local butcher to buy your meat instead of going to maybe a big box store. I know a lot of us like to grill. I don't know if we'll still be snow covered by then. We'll have to see. But we like to grill. We like to have those crock pots going. We like to have all sorts of meats and sauces. And thinking local is definitely a great way to help support your economy, support your community, and celebrate.
Thinking local, that's what you heard there from Valerie Belusco, the at least community and economic development educator at the University of Illinois Extension. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll talk a little more about these sorts of Super Bowl gatherings and how that can affect local economies, especially in small towns like the ones we serve right here on WTIM. And we'll talk a little bit more about that after this break right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat all higher at this hour. March corn up 431.5. May corn up 2.5, 439.5. And December new crop 458.5, up 1 1/4. March beans moving over $11 at 11.06 1/4, up 14. May beans up 15.5, 11.20 1/4. November new crop 10.95 1/4, up 7 3/4. March Chicago wheat 533, up 6 1/4. March KC wheat 534.5, up 4 1/4. March bean meal 302 even, up 5.80. March bean oil down 20 cents, 55.46. Livestock trade, March feeders down 492, 365.15. February live cattle 237.30, down 322. February lean hogs 87.27, down 72 cents. Energy market, March crude oil 63.51, down $1.63. RFD Radio Network.
Find out all the great things happening in the Pana area on the WTIM Pana Morning Show, Tuesdays from 8:40 till 10. You'll hear interviews with Pana area community, nonprofit, and business leaders each week. The WTIM Pana Morning Show is brought to you by these sponsors:
Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Riding's Pana, the Pana and Nokomis Dairy Queens, and Okanee Chop Shop.
I'm Jeff Grimmett, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor Taylorville Junior High School Students of the Month on all of the WTIM platforms.
Hi, I'm Olivia Hanka. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm the 6th grade student of the month. My parents are Micah and Stacey Hankla. The school subject I enjoy most is math. I like math because I can challenge my brain. This year at TJHS, I am involved in cheer, drama club, art club, and FFC. After high school, I would like to be a teacher because I always like to help my friends with their homework. A fun fact I would like you to know about me is I got baptized at Calvary Baptist Church on November 30th.
Congratulations to these students on this honor from People's Bank and Trust. We put people first every day at People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
WTIM AM, FM, and online on the WTIM mobile app and Amazon Alexa is your ag information station. With over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming and our own local farm broadcaster. Tune into WTIM, your ag information station.
This winter, your to-do list should include hot cocoa, and that's about it. At Hickory Point Garden Homes, snow removal and winter upkeep are already handled so you can enjoy an easier winter. Schedule a tour today by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
This is the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, and we're sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Valerie Belusco, a community and economic development educator at the University of Illinois Extension, and we've been talking all things Super Bowl and the impact on the local economy. And Valerie, the Super Bowl is just a small part of really the hospitality kind of efforts of a small town. Talk a little bit more about that and kind of what it means and how it fits into the overall hospitality strategy of small towns like Taylorville.
Oh, well, small towns, they know how to do hospitality. If you've ever been to a rural community, whenever they're having some kind of outdoor event, maybe like a farmer's market or a winter festival or a tractor show, they're so warm and so inviting, and they want everybody to come, and they have everything there for you. I mean, you're never going to go hungry. You're never not going to find a nice place to sit down. You're almost always going to get to hear great music. It's just really, really wonderful. And so right now, the Super Bowl is essentially just like a giant reminder that people want to gather. And when they gather, they're willing to spend money. And what's great for small communities is events create energy, they create connection, and it's just a great way to help support local businesses through events and through small town hospitality. So now is the perfect time. Well, not now. Let's wait until right after the Super Bowl. Right after the Super Bowl is the perfect time for your tourism committees, for your churches, for your local community groups to start planning their spring and summer events.
And that is worth thinking about. Of course, at that point, you won't have a football to compete with there, but I would imagine an event like the Super Bowl, like it gives a lot of those a lot of those businesses or tourism bodies, right? So you see what's happened with the Super Bowl, you think like, oh, okay, so we clearly have this covered, which is great. Maybe we can cover this other thing as well. Is that sort of what these organizations are thinking about after the Super Bowl?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes maybe they'll start thinking about it right now. There's a lot of businesses and restaurants that are really going to think about having specials and bringing people in and celebrating. But not everybody wants to go to a bar or restaurant. So you'll also find that you'll have churches and community organizations, and they might have like a nice area where they can host a little mini event that's maybe a little quieter and watch the Super Bowl there. And so it's a great way to kind of bring people in. And when you have those people in and have them there, you can kind of, feel out what their vibe is. What are they looking for? What do they think the community needs as far as tourism or as far as, event-based development? What do they like the most? What do they think needs a little work? What are they missing out on? And so it's a great time to just have conversations. I don't know about you, but personally, and I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this, the Super Bowl ads, I used to look forward to the Super Bowl ads so much, but lately, probably only half of them really make me want to pay attention. And so that's when I start having conversation with whoever's sitting beside me. And I've noticed a lot of other people doing that too. So it's that great time to start a conversation, to start thinking about these things. Maybe meet somebody new if you are sitting or visiting a place that isn't in your home and, you are at a restaurant or a church or something. And just start the conversation.
No, that is a great place to make those connections. And yes, I actually feel the same way about the Super Bowl ads as well. Just never really found them quite so funny, or at least not lately. I remember it was Super Bowl 44. I think that's when it was at its peak, and it just kind of went downhill from there. And actually, I'm glad you brought up the ads, because with about 90 seconds left, like, we talk about, trying to support local and companies trying to, think about how they can take advantage of tourism. Now, a lot of people do like the ads. Does that maybe create some amount of competition with, the companies that are spending, $7 million for 30 seconds of time that, tends to get a lot of viewership? Does that possibly come in as like a hindrance? Does it seem?
Well, there's always going to be competition, right? And competition spurs innovation. So I never think of that as a bad thing. But I also think that, small towns and rural communities have benefits that these other larger corporations and communities don't have. And really, it's just all about that community connectivity. And so when you make it special, when you make it a place for everyone to be involved, and when you just make it something that is different. Everybody thinks that small town, everything's the same, but it's not, because you really get to know your neighbors and have a lot of fun. And sometimes you don't get that in those larger communities. So I say take advantage of this. If Pepsi is your thing and you see a Pepsi ad, that's okay. Go buy Pepsi, but also visit a local bakery. Do something like that to help support your local economy.
And buying the Pepsi as well from the local grocery store or something like that. That's another big thing as well. Valerie Belusco, community and economic, or Belusco, Community and Economic Development Educator at the University of Illinois Extension. Valerie, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And you enjoy the Super Bowl.
You too.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump is warning a